The most empowering truth about the brain is that it can change. For centuries, people believed that once the brain was fully developed, its structure and ability were fixed. We now know this is not true. Through the science of neuroplasticity, we understand that the brain can reorganize itself, form new connections, and even grow new cells at any age. This means that no matter what has happened in your past, whether it's bad habits, trauma, or poor health choices, you are not stuck with the brain you have. You can improve it, reshape it, and strengthen it through the choices you make every single day. Every positive habit you form is like giving your brain a new opportunity to heal and function better. Change your habits and you change your brain. Change your brain and you change your life. The brain responds to consistency. Small intentional habits done daily have a greater impact than occasional big efforts. When you make a habit of getting enough sleep, eating healthy foods, exercising, managing stress, and thinking positively, you are literally rewiring your neural pathways for success and stability. Each time you repeat a healthy behavior, neurons fire together, and over time they form stronger connections. This is how habits become automatic. Likewise, when you break negative patterns, such as constant worry, procrastination, or unhealthy eating, you weaken the pathways that support them. The brain is always learning from repetition. So the more you practice wellness, the more your brain aligns with it. The beauty of this process is that it works at any age. Whether you are a teenager, a middle-aged adult, or in your senior years, your brain has the capacity to change. People often use age as an excuse, saying things like, "I'm too old to learn," or "my memory isn't what it used to be." But neuroscience has proven otherwise. The adult brain is remarkably adaptable. You can learn new languages, skills, and ways of thinking that strengthen your brain's structure and performance. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you use it in healthy ways, the stronger it becomes. The key is consistency and purpose. Changing your habits also means changing the environment that influences your brain. Surrounding yourself with positive, growth-minded people helps reinforce good behaviors. The brain mirrors what it sees, so when you spend time with people who inspire and encourage you, your brain begins to adopt similar patterns of optimism, discipline, and motivation. Similarly, the content you consume, what you read, watch, and listen to shapes your thoughts and emotions. Feeding your mind uplifting, educational, and creative material strengthens the circuits of focus and resilience. While change is possible, it requires commitment. Your brain thrives on structure and predictability. Setting small, achievable goals and tracking your progress builds momentum and confidence. For example, starting with just 10 minutes of exercise each morning, drinking more water, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for each night can begin transforming your brain chemistry. Over time, these small actions compound into powerful results. The process may not always feel dramatic, but the cumulative effect is profound. The more you invest in your brain health, the greater your emotional stability, mental clarity, and overall quality of life. Healing and transformation also come from forgiveness, both for yourself and others. Guilt, regret, and resentment take up mental energy and keep your brain locked in stress mode. Letting go of the past frees up space for growth and peace. Every moment you focus on improvement instead of failure, your brain shifts toward hope and possibility. Ultimately, the brain is designed to grow with you. It's not a static organ, it's a living, evolving system that reflects how you live, think, and love. Every positive thought, every mindful breath, every healthy meal, every night of good sleep, all of these actions sculpt your brain into a stronger, calmer, and more capable version of itself. You have the power to direct your brain's destiny through your daily choices. The more you align your habits with your goals, the more your brain adapts to help you achieve them. A healthy brain creates a healthy life, and the transformation always begins with one small, consistent decision to change. Your brain is not a machine that can be switched on and off at will. It is a living organ that needs movement, rest, and human connection to function at its best. Many people think brain health is only about mental exercises, learning new skills, or solving puzzles, but the truth is far more physical and emotional. Your brain depends on blood flow, oxygen, and hormonal balance to stay sharp. And these are all deeply influenced by how you move your body, how well you sleep, and how connected you are to others. Neglecting any of these three areas can slowly erode your brain's performance, while nurturing them can transform your mood, focus, and resilience. Movement, rest, and connection are not luxuries. They are non-negotiable for anyone who wants a healthy, thriving brain. Exercise is one of the most powerful brain boosters ever discovered. Every time you move your body, you increase blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and essential nutrients that enhance memory and focus. Physical activity stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called a miracle grow for the brain, because it helps neurons grow, connect, and communicate more effectively. Studies have shown that people who exercise regularly have larger hippocampi, the part of the brain responsible for learning and memory. Movement also increases endorphins and serotonin, which improve mood and reduce anxiety. Yet many people spend most of their day sitting behind desks, in cars, or in front of screens, starving their brains of this vital fuel. Even short bursts of activity like walking after meals or stretching between tasks can reawaken your brain's energy and clarity. The key is consistency. The brain loves rhythm, so daily movement, whether it's walking, dancing, cycling, or yoga, keeps it thriving. Just as movement energizes the brain, rest restores it. Sleep is when the brain performs its essential maintenance tasks. During deep sleep, the brain's glymphatic system clears out toxins and metabolic waste that build up during the day. This cleansing process prevents the accumulation of proteins linked to cognitive decline in Alzheimer's disease. Sleep also consolidates memories and strengthens neural connections, which is why lack of sleep often leads to forgetfulness and poor decision-making. When you deprive your brain of rest, you're essentially forcing it to run on a low battery, and the effects show up as irritability, reduced focus, and emotional instability. Good sleep hygiene, like maintaining a consistent bedtime, keeping the room cool and dark, and avoiding screens before bed can dramatically improve both mental and emotional function. Deep, restful sleep is not a luxury. It is one of the most powerful tools for brain repair and renewal. The third essential element for brain health is human connection. Your brain is a social organ. It is designed to connect, communicate, and belong. When you isolate yourself or spend too much time alone, your brain interprets that as a form of danger. Loneliness triggers the same stress responses as physical pain and increases levels of inflammation in the body and brain. On the other hand, meaningful relationships release oxytocin, a hormone that reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens the bonds that make life fulfilling. Spending time with supportive, positive people helps your brain feel safe, motivated, and stable. Conversations, laughter, and acts of kindness all activate brain regions linked to empathy and happiness. The combination of movement, rest, and connection forms a powerful triad for brain health. Exercise fuels the brain with energy, sleep repairs and reorganizes it, and connection gives it purpose and joy. When you neglect these elements, your brain begins to lose its edge. But when you make them a daily priority, your mind becomes sharper, calmer, and more creative. A brain that moves regularly, rests deeply, and connects meaningfully is a brain that can handle stress, solve problems, and experience life fully. The more you honor these natural needs, the more your brain rewards you with clarity, focus, and emotional strength. Every thought you have changes your brain. It's a chemical and electrical event that shapes how you feel, how you behave, and even how your body functions. Many people think their thoughts are just mental chatter, something that floats through their minds without consequence. But neuroscience has shown that thoughts are powerful forces. Positive, loving, and hopeful thoughts trigger the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which help you feel calm, motivated, and happy. Negative, fearful, or angry thoughts release stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, which prepare your body for danger, but when constant, slowly wear down your brain. Over time, repeated patterns of thinking can literally rewire your neural pathways. If your thoughts are mostly negative, Your brain becomes wired for anxiety, pessimism, and defensiveness. If your thoughts are mostly positive and realistic, your brain strengthens pathways for resilience, creativity, and emotional balance. The average person has tens of thousands of thoughts every day, and many of them are what Dr. Daniel Amen calls automatic negative thoughts. These are the quick, uninvited ideas that pop into your mind and distort reality. I'll never be good enough, and no one likes me. Something bad is going to happen, and are deceptive because they feel true. Yet they are often exaggerated, false, or rooted in past pain rather than present reality. The more you allow these thoughts to run unchecked, the more they reinforce themselves. The brain loves repetition, and it becomes efficient at whatever you practice most. If you constantly feed it negativity, it will automatically seek out and interpret the world through a negative lens. This makes you more likely to feel hopeless, react impulsively, and see problems instead of possibilities. Changing your thoughts begins with awareness. You have to start noticing the dialogue that runs through your mind every day. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Many of your most painful emotions come not from external events, but from the way you interpret those events. For example, if someone forgets to text you back, you might think, they're ignoring me, and feel hurt or angry. But if you challenge that thought and replace it with a balanced one, they're probably busy right now. Your brain stays calm and your mood remains stable. The process of questioning and reframing negative thoughts actually strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for judgment, planning, and emotional control. It's like mental weightlifting. Every time you replace an unhelpful thought with a healthy one, you build mental strength. Your thoughts also influence your body's chemistry. If you spend your days focusing on gratitude, optimism, and purpose, your brain releases chemicals that strengthen immunity, improve sleep, and increase energy. In contrast, chronic negative thinking raises inflammation, weakens the immune system, and accelerates aging. People who practice daily gratitude, prayer, or positive affirmations often show measurable improvements in brain activity and emotional well-being. The mind and body are deeply interconnected, and your thoughts are the bridge between them. Another important truth is that your thoughts are contagious. The energy you project through your words and emotions affects the people around you. A calm, compassionate mindset can soothe others and strengthen relationships, while chronic negativity can spread tension and conflict. By mastering your thoughts, you not only heal your brain, but also create a more peaceful environment for everyone you interact with. Developing control over your thoughts doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It means being honest with yourself without surrendering to fear or hopelessness. It's about cultivating a realistic optimism, a belief that even when life is hard, you can respond with strength and clarity. When you learn to manage your thoughts, you take control of your brain chemistry and your life. You stop being a victim of mental habits and become the author of your own internal story. Every thought you nurture becomes a building block of your future brain. By choosing truth over fear, gratitude over complaint, and hope over despair, you literally shape the physical structure of your mind toward peace. Focus and joy, the food you eat, is one of the most powerful tools you have to shape the health and function of your brain. Every single bite sends a chemical message that either nourishes or harms it. Most people think of food in terms of weight loss or physical health, but few realize that their brain depends on what they feed it to think clearly, regulate emotions, and make good decisions. Your brain weighs only about 2% of your body weight, yet it uses up to 30% of the calories you consume. It is an energy-hungry organ that constantly needs high-quality fuel to perform well. When you feed it junk, sugar, processed foods, trans fats, and chemical additives, you're literally starving it of the nutrients it needs to grow, repair, and protect itself. Poor nutrition leads to brain fog, mood swings, anxiety, depression, and even long-term memory problems. In contrast, feeding your brain right can sharpen focus, boost energy, stabilize emotions, and even slow aging. The modern diet is filled with foods that inflame the brain and disrupt its communication systems. High sugar intake, for example, causes spikes and crashes in blood glucose, which leave you feeling tired, irritable, and unfocused. Over time, excess sugar can damage blood vessels and reduce blood flow to the brain, which directly affects memory and concentration. Processed foods filled with artificial ingredients and preservatives can also interfere with neurotransmitter balance, the chemicals that regulate mood and behavior. On the other hand, nutrient-dense foods like leafy greens, berries, salmon, eggs, and nuts contain antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamins that protect brain cells from damage and improve communication between them. The difference between a brain fed on junk and one fed on clean, whole foods is like the difference between running on cheap gasoline and premium fuel. Healthy fats are especially vital. Your brain is nearly 60% fat, and it depends on high-quality fats to build cell membranes and transmit signals. Omega-3 fatty acids found in foods like salmon, chia seeds, and walnuts are essential for learning and memory. They also reduce inflammation and help stabilize mood. People who regularly eat foods rich in omega-3s tend to have lower rates of depression and cognitive decline. In contrast, trans fats and hydrogenated oils, often found in fried and packaged foods, disrupt these processes and can lead to slower thinking and reduced brain volume. The kind of fat you eat literally becomes part of your brain structure, so every meal is a construction project for your mind. Another powerful concept is that food is information. Every nutrient sends signals to your genes telling them how to function. Nutrients like vitamins B6, B12, folate, and magnesium support neurotransmitter production and energy metabolism. Antioxidants from colorful fruits and vegetables protect your brain from oxidative stress, which is a key factor in aging and neurodegenerative disease. When you consistently choose whole, colorful foods, you're not just fueling your body, you're programming your brain to stay sharp and resilient. Hydration also plays an important role. Even mild dehydration can impair focus, decision-making, and mood. The brain is about 75% water, and it needs adequate hydration to transport nutrients and clear out toxins. Replacing sugary drinks and sodas with water or herbal teas is one of the simplest ways to support better brain function. The emotional connection to food is another aspect many overlook. Comfort eating or reaching for sugary snacks during stress might give temporary relief, but it leads to long-term harm. Foods high in sugar and refined carbs trigger dopamine spikes, the brain's pleasure chemical, which can create addictive patterns. Over time, this cycle weakens self-control and makes it harder to resist cravings, trapping you in habits that dull your brain's potential. Breaking this cycle means developing awareness of what your brain truly needs rather than what your emotions temporarily crave. Feeding your brain right doesn't require perfection, just consistency. Small shifts, adding more vegetables, swapping processed snacks for nuts or fruit, choosing water over soda, can make a dramatic difference in how your brain feels and functions. The more you nourish it with real living foods, the more energy, focus, and emotional balance you'll experience. Your brain rewards you for every good choice you make. The truth is simple yet profound. Food can be brain medicine or brain poison, and every meal gives you the power to decide which one you're choosing. Most people go through their days without realizing that their small, everyday choices are either building or breaking their brains. It's not always the big, dramatic events that damage the brain, consistent habits that slowly drain its power over time. We often think of brain health as something related only to aging or disease, but in truth, your brain begins to change every moment based on how you treat it. From the food you eat to the amount of sleep you get to the thoughts you allow yourself to dwell on, your daily routine either strengthens your brain or sabotages it. The tragedy is that so many people unknowingly harm their brains through common behaviors that feel normal in today's world. Staying up too late, living on fast food, scrolling endlessly on social media, or living in a state of chronic stress and negativity. These habits might seem harmless, but they can shrink areas of your brain responsible for focus, mood, and memory. Awareness is the first step toward healing. You can't fix what you don't understand. Many people assume that feeling anxious, distracted, or unmotivated is just part of life, but these symptoms are often the result of a brain that's been neglected. The brain doesn't operate well under poor conditions. When it's deprived of quality sleep, healthy nutrients, or emotional stability, it becomes less efficient. You start to forget simple things, lose patience easily, and struggle to make good decisions. The good news is that the brain is incredibly adaptable. Once you become aware of the habits that are quietly harming it, you can start to reverse the damage and build new, healthy pathways that make you sharper, calmer, and more resilient. Sleep deprivation is one of the most common ways people hurt their brains without realizing it. In our fast-paced culture, rest is often seen as a luxury. But for your brain, it's a necessity. Sleep is when your brain consolidates memories, cleans out toxins, and recharges its energy. Missing even a few hours each night can impair judgment, increase irritability, and reduce the brain's ability to focus. Similarly, poor nutrition has a massive impact. Processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats inflame the brain and reduce blood flow, making it harder to think clearly and regulate emotions. These foods might satisfy short-term cravings, but they leave your brain starved for the nutrients it needs to thrive. Another silent brain killer is chronic stress. When you're constantly in a state of tension, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that in small doses helps you handle emergency. But when it's always elevated, it damages brain cells, especially in the hippocampus, the area responsible for learning and memory. Over time, stress rewires your brain to stay in survival mode, making it harder to relax, concentrate, or feel joy. Add in a sedentary lifestyle where you spend most of your day sitting, and the brain suffers even more. Movement increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain, but without it, your mind becomes sluggish and your mood dips. Perhaps the most underestimated habit that harms the brain is negative thinking. Every thought you have triggers chemical reactions in the brain. Negative, self-critical, or fearful thoughts release stress hormones that keep your body in a constant state of tension. Over time, this changes brain chemistry and structure, making it easier to feel sad or anxious. On the other hand, positive, hopeful thoughts release neurotransmitters that calm and strengthen the brain. The challenge is that many people are unaware of how much their inner dialogue shapes their mental and emotional health. Becoming conscious of your thoughts and learning to replace negative patterns with truthful, balanced ones is a powerful step toward brain healing. The moment you recognize that your daily actions and thoughts are influencing your brain, everything changes. You begin to see how even small choices, like drinking more water, getting an extra hour of sleep, or taking a walk instead of scrolling, can dramatically improve how you feel and think. Awareness turns into accountability, and accountability becomes transformation. You don't need perfection to have a healthy brain. You need consistency and intention. Every positive habit, no matter how small, moves your brain toward health, energy, and clarity. When you start paying attention to what helps your brain and what harms it, you reclaim the power to shape your future. Your brain is the most important organ in your body because it runs everything you do. It determines how you think, how you feel, how you act, and how you relate to others. Yet most people never think about their brain until something goes wrong. You might focus on your heart health, your muscles, or your skin, but few people wake up and say, "What am I going to do today to take care of my brain?" The truth is, when your brain works right, you work right. When your brain is troubled, you are more likely to struggle in every part of your life. It influences your success, your happiness, your relationships, and even your longevity. If your brain is healthy, you make better decisions, you handle stress more effectively, you think clearly, and you feel emotionally balanced. When your brain is not healthy, you may find yourself making impulsive choices, forgetting things, or feeling anxious, depressed, or unmotivated. Every problem in your life, whether personal, financial, or relational, can be made better or worse by the quality of your brain. That is why protecting it should be your top priority. Most people underestimate how fragile the brain actually is. It is soft, About the consistency of warm butter and housed inside a hard skull with sharp bony ridges. Every time you hit your head, deprive it of sleep, feed it junk food, or fill it with negative thoughts, you are slowly hurting the organ that controls everything you care about. Your brain doesn't have pain receptors, so you can't feel when it's being damaged, but you will feel the effects over time. In your mood, your focus, your memory, and your decisions. The sad truth is that many people spend more time caring for their smartphones than for their brains. They protect their devices with cases, charge them regularly, and update their software. But they often forget to protect the very system that controls their ability to enjoy life. Caring for your brain starts with awareness. You have to see your brain as the command center of your life and treat it with respect. Every choice you make is either helping or hurting it. What you eat, how you sleep, what you think, how you move, and even the people you spend time with all play a role in determining the quality of your brain function. If you constantly flood your brain with stress hormones, starve it of nutrients, or fill it with toxic information, it will eventually malfunction. On the other hand, if you nurture it with good habits, give it oxygen through exercise, rest it with sleep, and feed it nourishing thoughts, it will reward you with clarity, creativity, and calm. One of the most important things to understand is that brain health equals life health. When your brain works well, your relationships improve because you are more patient and empathetic. Your career benefits because you can think strategically, focus longer, and manage challenges with confidence. Your physical health improves because your brain controls your hormones, your immune system, and your motivation to care for your body. Everything you do depends on the quality of the decisions you make, and every decision comes from your brain. This means the quality of your life depends directly on the quality of your brain. Protecting your brain means making it a daily commitment. It's about developing a mindset that values long-term function over short-term pleasure. That means saying no to things that harm your brain, like alcohol, drugs, processed foods, and chronic stress. And saying yes to habits that boost brain function, like eating nutrient-dense meals, exercising regularly, sleeping well, and surrounding yourself with positivity. When you start thinking of every choice as a vote for or against your brain health, you begin to make decisions that serve your future self. The greatest gift you can give yourself and the people you love is a healthy, well-functioning brain. When you take care of your brain, everything else in your life gets better.